So welcome back to the More Life podcast. Today it's just me again and Gio. Essentially, this podcast is just filled with wisdom around how you can operate in your life to get results, why you might be falling off, the different reasons why people will feel anxiety and how to completely alleviate it, and so much more for you to take away from this podcast and apply to your life and just start winning. This podcast you should have to pay money to watch this, but you don't. You're lucky. You get to sit and soak it in for free. So sit down, listen to it, pay attention, and take as much as you can from it. And if you've got any questions, you want to bounce anything off of me or Gio, give us a message on Instagram because we're more than happy. Gio is at Mindset, and I'm at KaleRicchie_morelife. Enjoy the podcast. Let's start off this podcast. You said something I called the other night.
Mm-hmm.
The way I explained or spoke about law of attraction is a load of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Why do most people speak about it and it's a load of shit? What is your interpretation of that? I think that's interesting as fuck.
You need to go back around with what the law of attraction is. And there's two schools of thought. So there's a school of thought that has been spoken about, written about for millennia. And the law of attraction is that the more you focus on something, the more it will appear in your life. So you will be attracted to things that you think more about. So the red car theory is a great one that everyone, most likely has heard. And it's a part of your brain called your reticular activating system, your RAS, that alerts you to these things. So you've got this complex machinery in your brain. These mechanisms will delete a lot of the things that you see in life, but the things that are important to you they'll stand out. So the law of attraction is you change so if you have a thought, that thought can be measured in a frequency, and that frequency can match up with something else that you can see, another frequency. So it's the expression birds of a feather flock together. So you can be drawn and attracted to it. Now the question is, was that thing there because you had thoughts? And did that manifest and materialize? Or was that thing always there and you just recognized it because you had internalized what it was that you wanted and got this machinery to operate for you? And the old age way of looking at that is that's the mechanism that works. The new age is the modern version of the law of attraction was popularized by The Secret. So the book, Rhonda Byrne, back in 2006, wrote a book on The Secret. And after reviewing the law of attraction stated that you just had to manifest things in your life, which was, if you think about them and manifest them, the universe will answer your prayers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's generally what was people took from the book, and then laterally the movie. The thing being was, it's interesting because if you read the book and watch the movie again, and I realised that there was lots and lots of messages about taking a certain step that you needed to apply to make this thing happen. But because, and this is what we're getting to, what I said to you in the call, it says, your generation of people are always looking for the hack, always looking for the shortcut. There's always something that you want to do, that you can do, that can eliminate the work.
Mm-hmm.
And the new version of The Secret, people started to fall into that mold, which was, skip the work, skip the process, shortcut it, and you can get these results. So we want all the results and we want to minimize the amount of work or effort that we need to do. And that flies in the face of what the old age movement was. The old age movement was you'll spot and see the thing that you need, and then you can take action. And action is a missing piece. It's always a piece that you need to take. In fact, you need to take massive action, because you can spot and manifest this thing in your life. You don't take action, it's not going to do anything.
Yep.
And this is the piece that a lot of people, and I think you've went through, is when you start off your plan, and your plan is, well, the law of attraction is a thing, you go into it with, well, I just need to think about it, it's going to materialize. I just need to think about it, and it's going to happen. And you know what will happen? Your cognitive bias will say something will take place in your life, and you'll go, that was manifestation. All I needed to do was that. And what I'm calling you out on up to now was these things where I'm spotting the difference between what your generation has taught you, what the New Age Secret has taught you about law of attraction, and how that message has been lost, and then where you can get maximum action and maximum results by going, look, do the work. put in the graft, put in the effort, and take that action, and that's when the flip switch for you.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a really condensed version of the law of attraction as a whole, and why a lot of people get it wrong.
So my understanding of the law of attraction, like you said there, is to do with the kind of things that you're thinking about, but it's the secondary law to the law of vibration. And the idea, and what I've kind of spoke about to my clients, what I've heard a lot, and this is where I came to you with these kind of views of things, and you're like, it's a load of fucking shit. This is why I wanted to ask you this, because I think it's really interesting that you said it was a load of shit, because I've been having a lot of faith in it. And it's the things that, so we have this state of being, or this frequency that we operate on, which is essentially made up of the things that you consistently think about, the feelings that you consistently feel, the beliefs that you have, and how you see yourself. That's this kind of state of being, or this frequency. So the idea is like attracts like. That's what law of attraction states. The version of you that has a success thinks a certain way, feels a certain way, believes certain things, and sees himself in a certain way, which obviously is tied into the beliefs. So if you can match the way that that person thinks, feels, operates, you can then match the frequency of the life that you want. Because like attracts like, you then attract opportunities, people, money, ideas that align with that desired reality, or the life that you want. And that's, I think I said that to you and you're like, nah.
Yeah, it's complete bollocks.
So see me saying that, and like a lot of people watching this, because I'll get the boys to watch this, and we all watch these new guys like, talking about it.
This is the thing, right? See, if the question I would ask you, that I would ask you and all your boys is, have you ever put a lot of time and effort into reading these books, watching these videos, and implementing these practices, then being at a loss when you go, why is it not working? Why is it only working some of the time? Why are we only... I've got this plan. I've matched my vibrational frequency to the desired reality that I want. I want a Ferrari in green. I've went outside and it's not there. Or, I see myself as this guy, and this guy's doing X, Y, and Z. Why have I not got it now? So there's these questions that you ask where you go, well, there must be something between if I can get there and I'm here, what's the mechanism? So it's like, for instance, you could say that in your mind you're the best, most fantastic football player in the world, but if you never get on a pitch, like you don't take the action to then go and develop the skills, the habits. We are in a physical world. Yeah, 100%. So thinking that it's just matching a thought process without interacting with the physical and taking the action is just naive. I mean, I wouldn't say I would teach it without the action involved, but I think a lot of people do assume that you can just take kind of normal action and have this state of being and match the frequency. But what I've realised recently, again, with the work that I've done with you and the reinforcement you gave me as well, is that kind of thinking, feeling like the person that has it does drive action that takes you forward towards the life that you want every single time. Because you like the emotions that you then tap into when you're really matching the frequency or matching the thoughts and the feelings. But I mean, it's the complexity for the sake of complexity's sake. I mean, I don't get why people need to use this higher speech to kind of formalize or vocalize what they're doing. Like you're tapping into it's like, so you're it's like you've got an orchestra inside your body, and you're like, let's go to the higher level. And when we go into the higher level, we're tapping into that level up there, and it's like everything's disassociated, it's disconnected. That's up there. You can become this. It's out of arm's reach. It's like the carrot, on the end of the stick, and the donkey's chasing it. The mechanism is that you fill into that role. You fill into that place that you want to be. But to cover any distance needs action. Like an example would be is like you can be as totally imagine your garden's like full of weeds. And you go out to your back garden, you're like, my desired reality is these weeds don't exist. I'm going to match my vibrational frequency that these weeds just aren't going to be there. And then you really lock in and do a deep 2-hour meditation. You open your eyes and you're like, the fucking weeds are still there. And it's like, well, if you want to get, why don't you just lift the weeds? Like take the action. Because guess what happens? See the desired reality that you got when you add it to action. Guess what? You've got no weeds in your garden. But this positive thinking, like, if you lined up a timeline of all these thought processes before the law of attraction, there was positive mental attitude. All you needed was a positive mental attitude. Now, like most things, it's not one or the other. Like, so I think manifestation and law of attraction have its place. But I think that people interpret how to use it in ways that just bewilder me. And it's like, well, it's the same with positive mental attitude. It's like, well, you can be as positive as you want, but if you're not taking decisive action to move the needle, to move the position that you're in to the position you want to be in, like, it's not going to work. And this was the thing before law of attraction was a thing. It was PMA, positive mental attitude. If you can just get positive and this and that and the next thing, you can be positive about whatever you want, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. But is it better to be where you can make an argument? Well, if if you're in a more positive state, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to feel better. You're going to think more clearly. You're going to look for better outcomes.
Yeah.
So it's definitely got its place, but it's not just like a lot of people take it to the extreme. As I said, they're looking for the hack, the shortcut, the least amount of work.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, it's all about positive mental attitude, and it's like, well, it's only that's only one piece of the puzzle.
What I think is really important to highlight, because a lot of people watching this will be like me, my age, more than likely. And that point that you made about this generation, they look for like a magic pill, a solution, like these kind of things that it's almost like I've been thinking about trying to be successful and there's this one thing that will get me there. The only thing that will get you there is bridging the gap with action.
I'm lucky. I think that I'm really lucky that I'm in, like, when the generation that I've grown up in spans a really significant changes in humanity's sort of perception, if you like. So if I think back to when I was in school and I was, I was doing homework, or I had to go and find out about a project I was doing, dinosaurs or the Titanic or World War I or World War II, whatever it was that you were studying, you would go and you would find the book and you'd read the book and you'd find out about the stuff, and then you'd like write it down, and you would like manually write it down, manually read a book. And then it moved to, right, well, what we do is we can use computers and type. And it was like, well, that's good. And then what happened then was you had the advent of like Google. So you could go in and copy and paste all the bits. So that's a good line, copy that in. You weren't doing the work. You were shortcutting the process.
Yep.
So you weren't doing the reading, you weren't doing the writing. What you were now doing was literally just scanning and copying. And then that moved to like videos. So people didn't want to read anymore because books took you days to read. So like I can watch a 2-hour video and somebody's done a video and that's way better to watch. And then that was like the age of YouTube. And then now we're at the point where it's short form. People can't even watch a 60-second reel. Never mind a book that takes them days to read. Like I say this to people as well. Like it's like, how do you think your concentration is? Like, it's shot. I'm like, go and see if you can read one page of a book without picking up your phone. And you realise how people are wired. And I was like, we are so far away from doing the work now. Things are at your fingertips. And if you look at what we've got today, you've got short form content that's literally tricking your dopamine system into getting hit after hit. You've got AI, which people are just using as a crutch. ChatGPT's everybody's best pal now.
Yeah.
Or ChatGPT this, ChatGPT that. I use ChatGPT to do this. There's ChatGPT fucking diet plans. There's ChatGPT coaches. Everything. And it's like, where is the fucking work?
Yeah.
Like, so let me get this right. You think all I need to do now, this is the general population, I'm in this at you.
Yeah, no, of course.
You think all I need to do is just fucking vibrational, see myself as the desired reality, and then fucking ask AI and it'll do everything else for you. Like, you don't deserve shit.
Yeah.
You don't actually deserve the work, because what you put in is a direct relation to what you get out.
Yep.
And you're looking to literally skip and hijack the process. But if you look at what's thrown out in the media, like thrown out in ads and all that sort of thing, start a business with AI, you don't need anyone. Start doing something, you don't need to do a thing. This full process, you can build a course in 5 hours that you can sell for thousands of pounds. You go, look, you're not doing any of the work. So what we have is we've got this huge collection, this wave of people that are coming into the market. They've no experience. They've got no life experience. They've never actually done any of the effort. They're picking up some pieces of information and getting AI to do the rest of it, and then they wonder why, like, how am I missing, like, why are people not buying my product? It's like, well, because the people are not that thick.
Mm-hmm.
They can see when they can actually detect if somebody's done the work.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that, the internet seems to be awash with it. And The really cool thing is, what's cool about this is because for every dark cloud there's a silver lining, is it's really easy to spot the people that have done the work now because they stand out, they're head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yep.
And I'll give you an example. So when somebody writes a message and they reply with AI and you reply with AI and they reply with, and everybody's using AI, right? See, when someone sends you a message, you know it's not AI. It stands out a mile and you go, that was written by you. People are now spotting the computer and they now know the genuine ones.
Yeah, 100%.
So now it's that easy to do. So in a world that's awash with these sort of shortcuts, hacks, lack of experience, what's the thing that you want to go for to stand out? Be real. Be like, what's the word that was bandied about? Be authentic.
Authentic.
Right, be authentic. There's no better time. There's never been a time that's been easier to be spotted as somebody that's authentic.
Yeah, completely.
And this is what I mean about it's going to come full circle where, like, you need to do the work. You need to put in, and you know what it's like when I'm mentoring you. I know the answers, and I know that I can shortcut it for you, but I don't give you the shortcut because you don't learn if I shortcut it for you.
Never.
I need you to learn because if you don't learn, then I've not taught you anything.
100%. Jack, I was on a call with a client and I'd recorded it with, it's got a cool little note-taking app that records it. And I was watching back the call with Jack and client came on, really good energy. Jack was like, I would have probably spoke, like, because Jack's obviously doesn't coach, right? But Jack was saying to me, like, I probably would have mentioned about staying in the state of the wish fulfilled there. Like, I would have probably reinforced that. But what I reinforced was to him, you feel good because you've taken action. And I'm like training him to like notice that he only feels good because he takes action, because action these days is the things that people can't fucking do. Everyone can sit and feel good about a reality, but I feel like why I wanted to speak about this, about the law of attraction, is I think that is, you say a lot of lofty fucking words, right? But it's also a distraction away from what really needs done. I feel like a lot of the time people focus on the law of attraction, matching the frequency, and I think it's a part of it. Like you say, like I actually do believe in like the hermeticism and like the universe is mental. I fuck all that. I actually do believe it, but I feel like when you get too wrapped up in that, you take yourself away from taking the fucking action, which is the thing that drives the results. So,
like, I mean, in a night like this, is the thing is that people don't realize this is that doing the work is an interesting topic because the work's hard and it's going to take you much longer and it's more difficult to do, and you feel that you're missing out and you feel that you're slowing yourself down and you feel frustrated that you're not getting where you want to be as quickly as you want to get there. So there's all the things that doing the work is hard, especially in this day and age where you press a button, you can get food delivered to you. There's an endless amount of entertainment. People don't want to do the work; they just want to be entertained.
completely.
They don't want to grow or improve or get better. They just want entertainment. That's all they're looking for, and that's the harsh reality of it. Is that they are setting themselves up for this, but what they don't realize, it's like someone. It's like imagine you do a hard training session and a hard diet. Right, it's hard going through that process. You're not going out for dinner. You're restricting the food that you eat. You're eating stuff that's bland. You know that it's good for you, but you're not really wanting to do it, and it's difficult. The training's difficult. The diet's difficult, but the result's really, really good. We'll flip that on its head. If you get to eat what you want and don't train, and you think that just putting yourself in the vibrational frequency is going to get you in shape, it's not going to happen. Right, it's not going to get you there. This is what I mean. Positive mental attitude. You can be as positive as you want. As you're filling your face with McDonald's and drinking 2 litres of Sprite, full of aspartame, and that's your diet day in, day out, and you want to sit on the couch, you can sit there and you can tell yourself you're plugged into the hermetic principles. You can tell yourself that you're living in your desired reality. You can tell yourself that you're in that wishful state. You can tell yourself, but the reality is that there's an incongruence. What you're doing and what you're trying to trick yourself into feeling don't match. And if you learn anything from all of these principles and all these laws, is everything needs to line up. Words like alignment and the words that you love to use, everything needs to be in a line. Well, your thoughts, your focus, your attention, your action all need to line up.
Yep.
And this is what happens with people, is they want the result, try and get into a vibrational state to get the result, and don't want to do the work, which is the action part.
Yeah.
So there isn't you're missing the piece, But their answer is, well, you know, and I said this to you the other day, it was like, you know, you'd said, well, I got a good result, so that proved that, you know, that you were angry, you were jesting.
I got an inquiry.
I got an inquiry, and that shows that I can manifest these things. And I'm like, well, there's an old expression that we used to use, which was you could tie an order form in a brochure to a dog's back, and one day it's going to walk into the office with a filled in order, meaning that shit just happens, luck just sort of takes place.
Yeah.
But that's not a method or a formula that you should live by.
But the point you reinforced though was how many posts have you put in the last 6 months that's made that person inquire?
Yeah.
That's the action that's actually attracted that.
Yeah, because what you're doing is, like, what you were doing then was looking at it at a small, like, this week I got this
shifted
inquiry.
my state and then I got the inquiry.
And I'm like, Kyle, look, this thing's way wider than it. How many posts do you put out? How much content you put out? How many podcasts you recorded?
Yep.
How much YouTube videos you put up? How many books you read?
Yep.
How many, like, you need to keep putting out and keep putting out. And that action takes time. There's a time delay between when you think and try and manifest something to when it appears. And the great example would be, well, if you thought elephant and then a fucking elephant fell out of the sky, like, people think that's how manifest. Well, I just think of it and it'll arrive.
Yeah.
Well, I just think of an elephant. Woof, imagine an elephant arrive. Be like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? So there needs to be a natural mechanism that you just can't think of things.
Yep.
And they're going to appear out of thin air. And it's good because part of the human process is we grow when we do things that are hard. So if you train and you get big and strong or fit and fast or get lean, you grow in experience and wisdom and knowledge because you've done something that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to get from where you're at today to a result that you would like to see yourself in, you need to put in the work. You need to work out the path to do that. That you need to work out that journey. Yep. And this is the thing that you want to lean into. You want to lean into the difficult and lean into the action, because the thing that will keep you going when it's hard is the state that you're in, the vibrational state that you're in, which is, I know where I'm going and I know why I'm going there.
So see if the vibrational state didn't match, but you'd done the action, would you get the result?
Yes, you would if you knew where you were going, but then you would naturally fall into the vibrational,
wrong state.
No, well, the thing that happens when you just have the action to give you, because it's a good question.
Because this is the whole thing. This is the whole piece. Is like
the two pieces of the puzzle look like this. So if you, like, on one side of it, if you just get into the vibrational state and don't take the action, you're just deluding yourself.
Yeah, but the argument is, this is the thing. This is why there's people that we watch. Jude watches, Jack watches. Are reading this guy's book, and a lot of his stuff fucking makes a lot of sense, right? Mm-hmm. And I like it all. But the whole piece is, if your frequency doesn't match and you're doing the actions, you won't get the result. You won't get the result if your frequency doesn't match. So that's like the missing bit, is like most people are doing the work.
No, because it's a two-piece process. Like, so it's like, if you want the best result, like, so to give you an example, because I think context and real world context rather than lofty kind of, all righty then.
That's why I've got you to tap into.
This is what I mean, is like, so you get someone that's like, it's entirely vague where you say if the action doesn't match the frequency, the result won't happen. It's entirely vague. You can interpret that whatever way you want.
Yeah.
So it just leaves it wide open, and someone comes to you and you can then go, well, it's actually this, or it's actually, there's so many ways of getting out of that. Yeah. But if you get somebody that's worked 40 years on a job, they just showed up and just worked, didn't have any aspirations, and they end up like, you know, the second from the top in the company, no aspirations to get there, but they just came in and cracked out, you know, rose to the top, rose up. That's action. They had no intentions of getting here. Maybe they don't like it there, but they went, well, I just ended up like, I just came in, done my work, and this is where I ended up. Mm-hmm. So that's action without the vision, or without the vibration, or without the thought. And the I just ended up here. Yeah. So like the that's fine if you don't have any aspirations. The difficulty is if you want a life that's that way and you're taking action it's that way, you can end up with all the result from the action, but it might not be where you want to be.
Right.
Right. And then, so that's what happens, is that's where you get someone who works 20 years in a corporate job. They've climbed the corporate ladder. They've got the money. They've got the house. They've got the success, the apparent success. They go, I don't know why I feel off. It's because they're living a dream that they wasn't their dream.
Right.
So they are to use the word that you like, is desired reality. They've came to the realization that they're living the reality that someone else wanted them. Usually it's a corporate entity that's like, well, you know, you want to be a great supervisor or a manager or, you know, at board level. And they're like, well, yeah, it sounded good, but I've got here and I'm not really sure I like it.
Right, is that because, right, cool. So, but like the result the result you desire, the one that you want, you won't get that if you don't feel good as you're doing the actions, because to feel good about doing the actions, it's feeling good that you're moving towards the thing you desire.
That's the utopia is what you want. So what you want is like how many, like you've seen it firsthand, I've done it with you, is that your very first vision you wrote out, you would have swore blind that's what you wanted in life. If I get here, Gio, I swear to you, I would love this life. That is it. It's amazing. I'm totally sure. I'm totally locked in.
Yep.
100%. I would, you know, I'm ready to go. And then look, you're on probably your double digits now of your vision, of that version of the vision. And your version of your vision now is very different from the very first vision. And that's because as you develop and grow, things change. But people who don't do the work in terms of being self-aware of what they want and knowing that they can adapt and adjust and change, they'll just fall into a role and then end up way out the other way with action. And then you can get other people who have got this huge vision and then wait, like the great ones are like people that are analysis by paralysis. They never take any action because they're waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect time, just basically perfect conditions. 10 years go by and people are like, what happened to your plan? And they're like, I'm just waiting a little bit longer. I'm just reading one more book. I'm just doing one more course. And it's like, so no action, big alignment, big feelings, you know, they're packed with knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's a classic case of they know what to do, but they're not doing what they know because of inaction. And you've got other people that are like, don't know why they're doing it, but they're charging on and doing it. And it's either somebody else's dream or they've not got a dream. And they might end up in a place that they might not like. So that's like, there's the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
And then everyone can fall in between that to some variation. Now, the one that everybody wants is, I know exactly what I want. I know what it's going to look like when I get there. I can describe it like it's a movie scene, right? I know how I'm going to feel. I can imagine it as if I'm there. And then I'm going to work out the steps to get there. And what that usually means is they're going to need to let go of some things in their life because unless it's been a perfect timing for them, they've generally got some things that they need to change in their life.
Yep.
So they need to change their approach, they'll need to change their job, they'll need to change their role, they'll need to change how they sound, they'll need to change what they're doing, they'll need to get out there and, you know, the big bad world. They'll maybe need to, you know, think of how to structure themselves in a way that's more, you know, shaped towards where they want to go.
Yep.
So that's a process that you need to go through. And that's what happens where, well, you think this way now, let's go through this process and let's see how you think then. And do you still want your vision? Like, let's review this vision. Mm-hmm. And, you know, even as recently as, you know, a few weeks ago, I'm like, well, you need to change this vision now.
Yep.
And you're like, I didn't even realise I needed to adjust it.
Yeah, it's fine.
And this is the thing where it's having that, you know, and you're lucky enough that you've got a mentor. So I'm like, well, look, you need to do it. And you're like, no, surely I can't. And I'm like, well, check it out. And you're like, I cannot believe it. Because that happened to you, didn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. So see that utopia though, you're like, oh, well, that's a utopia. It's literally a process that you took me through and I take my clients through. Because it is like getting clear on what you want, feeling really good about like being there, using tools like visualization to tap into it, and then completely aligning the actions and making sense of it. I think but what I lean towards, so I am into like the metaphysical, the frequency stuff, but I'm really into like the science lens of it as well, like see the reticular activated system, how your brain works. I feel like I lean more towards that because I have the perspective and opinion of opportunities are everywhere. You just have beliefs that are blocking them. So you might think, I can't do it, so you don't even see an opportunity that's there to take the action on. That's what I lean towards more, because when you're, like I said on my story, I'm going to make a YouTube video about how people have quantum leaps and have huge results, and it happens in a really short space of time. It's nothing magical. They just shift a limiting belief that didn't allow them to see an opportunity, and then as soon as they shift the belief, this opportunity appears out of nowhere, but it was always there in the first place. That's what I lean towards more now. And when I'm working with clients, it's more when the vision is clear, they then have something important to work towards and look for opportunities to actually make it happen. And that's why these opportunities seem like they're fucking aligned and attracted, but they were always there.
Yeah, and the thing that is like, you're going on a journey, and your journey is going to be, it's not going to be a straight line. There's going to be highs and lows, and the reason that people fall off is that they think it's all going to be. So I just need to make a vision. I just need to work out the steps. I need to follow the steps, and I'll get there. It's going to be more volatile than that, and more often than not, it's going to be you that's going to be the problem. You're not going to have the discipline. You're not going to take the action. You're going to lose track of your vision. You're not going to revisit what you need to do. You're not going to track your metrics. You're going to listen to your own BS. You're going to start getting caught up and then be entertained rather than be taught.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so many points of failure. You can see how difficult it is to keep on track.
Yep.
And the thing that people don't realise is that it takes time for you to go through the process. And you are usually the failure point, but people's ego won't let them see it.
What I think's amazing is see everything you just listed there. Past 7 months, I've probably done all of those things. Like individually fucked it at all those failure points. And like you're saying there, it does need to be a process. But yeah, no, it does. It does, like you're saying there, it's
like your process,
like
to give people again context, because we like to give people information, but then go, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, so you listen to your own bullshit. You are your number one fan.
Yep.
And if it's coming out your mouth, whether it's bullshit or not, you're buying it. You're like, yes. Right, so that's one end of the scale. And to give you the other end of the scale, you've got someone that's done really, really good work, amazing work, and they have one tiny mistake, and that's all they can think about. That one mistake, and it totally destroys all the good work that they've done. And you're like, I wouldn't say you're an extreme. The extreme would be someone that's like, well, I've made all these fuck ups, but I've done this one thing, and that should be what we should focus on. Like, you're probably somewhere in the middle, but you're more leaning towards, hey, I've done great and everything's amazing and it's brilliant. That comes from your optimism and your positivity, which is good.
But I love you ripping me apart though. I do. Like, I've got complete humility.
I mean, you've seen the benefit of that now. Like, initially you were like, what are you fucking putting shade on me for?
Yeah.
You're pissing on my chips. Why are you? You're supposed to support me.
Aye.
Why are you having a go?
To fucking help me.
I don't feel like this is helping. And I'm like, what's what you need? And this is the thing. I'm like, I know what you need.
Yeah.
But it's not what you're going to like.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm sure I'm exposing that bit that's causing you the failure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you see it? And you're like, I don't want to look. And I'm like, have a look. And you're like, I don't want to look. And I'm like, okay, I'll have a look. And you're like, fuck, that was me. I'm like, I know. literally. But that's what I'm saying. I think one of the things I said in the podcast I done with my client was, the only reason that my work doesn't work with clients is when they've got an ego they can't shake. Like, see, when they've got an ego that just stops them seeing why they're the problem. Because you are the problem. You're the only problem that will fuck you. And look, we can relate to it. I mean, how brutal it is. I mean, I remember when I was young, I was like, my fucking ego was running rampant.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult. Like, so you can totally get it. And the good thing is when you've experienced that and you've came to terms with it, that's you. Like, you've got that ego as well. It's so easy to spot in other people.
Yeah, fucking.
Like, you're like, look, man, and you can go, look, I know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
I've had multiple clients recently. It's so funny.
And it's like that thing where your ego does a good job because it's trying to look after you and it's trying to defend you, but it can also overcook it because sometimes where you need that constructive criticism, it's too busy trying to pull apart the attack rather than take the messages like you need to switch it up here.
Yeah, completely. So why do you think the number one reason, or if there's a couple, as to why when someone tries to build a vision and they just can't connect to it, what do you think causes that disconnect? Like, what do you think doesn't allow them to actually...
It's interesting because it's one of the things that I experience a lot.
Same.
Like, it's one of the things I experience a lot is people go, it just sounds easy. I'm like, try it. And then they try it and it's like, it's simple instructions, but you're finding it really difficult.
Yep.
And a couple of the reasons. First is focus. So focus and concentration, as we've touched on, is so low just now that having to go in and think. So you've like all the entertainment is outside world. So if you imagine that your eyes are the extension of your brain, and all you're doing is looking and seeing entertainment. If you wonder why you're not getting the results in your life, it's because you're getting dopamine overload. It's just boom, boom, boom. And it's wiring your system for this. Hit after hit after hit. Entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. And the algorithms and social media and all that sort of stuff know what they're doing. And it's serving you up hit after hit after hit. It reminds me of the famous experiment that I think B.F. Skinner might be misremembering who done the experiment. It was one of the psychologists done an experiment on rats. And every time they hit the lever, they would get a reward in a piece of food. And they then changed the pattern that the food was delivered. So instead of every time that they hit the lever, to every second time that they hit the lever. So the rats would hit that lever 60 times every minute. So that would be the dopamine response where they were looking for the hit, the treat, and it would be once every second. When they changed the pattern to once every second time, then that went to 800 times a minute. Like, so look at what's happening from long to short. People are needing the hit so much more often, and that's disrupting their focus. Their focus is obliterated.
Yep.
So that's the first thing. So but it's predominantly they are looking, so the state that they'll be in is high beta state, outside world, they're concentrating outside, what's in front of me, what can I touch, what can I see.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing a vision, you are going internal, you're going into your internal world, you're imagining what it would be like. If you're so fixated and spent so much time on your outside world, you having to go in and practice this internal work is so foreign to you that even though the instructions are simple, you combine this strange idea of, well, what do you mean, like daydreaming or using my imagination and like actually stopping the outside world and then going into the man-side thought process.
Yep.
It's so far away from what people do now. Add that on top into short concentration, a dopamine system that's cranked up essentially like a drug addict, needing a hit after hit after hit. Add in processed junk food.
Yep.
Add in lack of exercise and releasing those sort of stress hormones. You have got a cocktail for people that are absolutely tweaked out their brain and all they can think about is the outside world. And the question would be, is that by design or is that by just, happenstance? And I would say that it's more likely the former and it's unlikely to be the latter.
Yeah, it's completely designed. We could go into that rabbit hole of how the world's set up to fuck you.
Well, they don't want you. I mean, like it's not too much a reach to go, well, for as long as humanity's existed in the story of humanity, all the way back to the Sumerian and cuneiform tablets that denote how humanity was ruled, there's always masses are ruled by rulers or kings or queens or governments. There's always a story that there's like a small number of people that want to control a huge number of people, whether it be chiefs in a tribe or whatever the connotation, whatever the structure would be. And you need a mechanism to control people. And one of the things that you don't want people to do is realise the power that they've got in their mind.
Yeah.
And if you want to distract them, and that's what they did with the gladiators and the Colosseums and, fighting and, bread and war.
These
keep
days
them
it's
distracted.
football and all that shit. Yeah.
Just keep them distracted, give them sport, keep them distracted, keep them entertained.
Yeah.
And look what you've got now. You've got a device over many platforms that is delivering you hit after unlimited. Unlimited. People spend 15 hours a day on their phone. 15 hours.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's screen time.
So the first thing and reason why people don't connect to their vision is because they can't fucking focus long enough or sit and concentrate on doing it, and they just get distracted or...
They're like a junkie that's smacked out their head on entertainment, short form content.
Yeah,
they are literally smacked out their mind.
There's a book called Mastery by George Leonard. It's like a wee book. I don't know if you've read it. Have you read it?
No.
But one of the chapters is America's War on Mastery. And mastery's obviously been on the lifelong plateau and not seeing big results and still doing the work. And it is just all the adverts you get, all the dopamine hit, 100%. That's got to be... I actually done a weekly call, like I was saying to you, when the camera shut off there. The reason why my clients don't get the vision bit a lot of the time, or when I've put in a perfect day protocol, alignment protocol, the magical word, and it's they do the AM meditation or visualization, because I know how powerful that is, and then do the PM visualization. And I said before I gave it to them, I said, there's a reason where you might not do this. It's because of your dopamine. And it's because you see this as like a big fucking thing. I need to sit and listen with headphones, and this was a big deal. Writing out the vision, how much effort's that. And it's only because you're ruining your dopamine by scrolling, eating sugar, eating shit. So it's actually fucking amazing that you said that is the first thing, because that is literally something I said to my clients. Like, if you're going to be really locking in this protocol, really building out the vision, be aware of how you're spending your dopamine. If you're waking up, going on your phone, when it comes to writing a vision, you'll be like, why can't I do it? I just don't feel... It's because you can't fucking focus long enough, or you don't have the dopamine, and this thing is like this perceived effort that's huge and you can't do it. That's why it's fucking really difficult for you to do. So what would be the kind of other things, the other reasons why someone can't?
Well, I mean, the main issue is that you're implementing a structure that sounds simple but feels extremely difficult to apply.
Yep.
That's the overall principle, and you can slot in people's particular circumstances. So things like, I'm a negative thinker, I tend to be a pessimist, I just don't see myself that way. That would be bracketed under like negative self-talk, how somebody sees themselves, which is in one kind of box. You've got other things which is like, I can't visualize my favourite. I'm like, I can show you right now that you can visualize.
Yeah, I like that one. For anyone that said they can't visualize, do you want to just do the quick?
So for anybody that's listening to this, or if you're driving, don't do what I'm about to give you instructions to. But I say to someone like, I want you to imagine that you're standing outside the house that you live in. So if it's a house or a flat or whatever it is, just imagine you're outside the building. And I want you to stand far enough back that you can see the bottom of the building and the top of the building. So you can see the roof, you can see the ground, you can see around the sides. And what I'd like you to do is walk up to the door that you would go in. So if the door's at the side or the back or the front, go up to that door. And what I want you to do is I want you to tell me what colour that door is. And they'll respond white or black or whatever the door. I'm like, where's the handles, on the left or the right? Oh, no, it's on the right-hand side. There's a door open in the way or out the way? And they'll do this in their mind. They'll go, opens in. Like, walk through the door. What's there? Well, I'm in the hall. What's in the hall? We've got a rug. There's flooring. There's a door to the living room. And there's a mirror to my left. Like, you just created an entire movie in your mind. An entire movie. You've had visual, you've had sound, you've had feel, you've had texture. You have created a perfect vision of what it looks like, what you'd be like if it was there, what the colours are like, all the sensory environment. So you 100% visualise.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is you're just copping out. You're just making these, I can't visualise. Well, yeah, you can.
You just done it there.
You just did.
Yeah, fully. I think that's fucking sick. I done that to a client. Came onto a call with like a shit, like, he was in a shit headspace, right? Said, take a wee minute. Like, I know you're shit, right? I believe you're shit, right? But let's just do this for 2 seconds. I'd done something similar to that. Yeah. But I put him in the car that he wants. And within literally 20 seconds, he's sitting there and you can see his face getting slightly like flushed and like starts to get a bit excited. And I'm like, right, 30 seconds ago, you felt shit. How do you feel now? Mate, how did you do that? I'm like, because like, see what you just done there? You've done that to me multiple times. Yeah. And it's, you're not saying, feel how good it is. You're just putting them there. You're just literally guiding them to be there, like you just did there with the imagination.
It's just you're doing the work. I'm just a tour guide. I'm just popping up the next instructions.
So powerful. It's fucking fast.
Like I do it with the visualization calls in the morning. Like even this morning, I done a really powerful one, and the guys were like, "What was that?" And like, "What have you just done?" And I said to him, "I didn't do anything. You did that. That's inside your mind. Yeah, that's what's in there. I'm just giving you I'm the tour guide. Mm-hmm. I'm just taking you the tour in your mind. And the great one is kids. Like, so my youngest son Ted, he's like, "Dad, I can't get to sleep." Right, come on, we'll go. So I'll take you through. So we went taking him through to bed, and just started running him through. When you can't sleep, you're focused too much on the outside. So if you start to go on the inside, you fall asleep straight away. Yep. So I was taking him through a process of switching his focus from the outside to the inside. And I remember going and telling him the next part about like being in the car. You're sitting in the car and you just start looking out the window and you can just see the world go by. And as you watch the world go by, you just let your mind start to wander and you can think of anything you want. He was already snoring.
That's class.
And this is what I mean. He was, and I said to him the next day, do you remember what we were talking about? He's like, yeah, as it would was the last thing you remember. And it was 2 sentences in. And it was just how amazing kids are at that. Oh, the inside world. Yeah, I know what it's like. Because they have imaginary friends. They can draw and make up anything. They can build things and take Lego and be like, this is this. And then they're creating, battles and stories, and it's all internal. It's all inside their mind. And that creative imagination, that magic, that energy that you see from them is all in there. And then what happens is you get that dialed out of you by media and, content and this and that and work and the rat race and all that. It just melts all that magic out of you. Or you think it would melt the magic out of you. It's there under a layer of dust.
Yeah.
It's like we just need to dust it off.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to get some WD-40 and spray some of the, the rusty bolts in the mind. But it is in there.
That's why I think it's so powerful. See, when I done like a guided hypnosis with Robbie the other week there, and he had like tears in his eyes and he was goosebumps, right? That would have been, he's very suggestible to me, so it was quite easy to like get him into state and guide him into it. But see him going, that's the first time I felt that. That's because that's the first time he's disconnected from the outside and went in.
Yep.
Which is something that he's always had access to. He can always do it, but it took for me to guide him to do it. And for someone that he's suggestible to guide him, that allowed him to do that. So I think that's where, like, you've got a thing in your bio that is, mindset is something to the power within us all. You see, like, something like that. And that is honestly what you're unlocking with the visualization, the tapping into state, doing the inner, the inside thing. That is like you're tapping into that thing that you've always had in you to use, but we just get it fucked out of us by
Well, it's like
society.
imagining the building. So imagine like the same building you've just imagined, and imagine that just the same way as you were outside the building when you started that visualization. And then imagine that you get to the door, and instead of that door being to the inside of your house, imagine that door being the inside of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk through that door, and then you're guided into all the rooms, but instead of being a hall or a living room or a bathroom or a bedroom, I'm like, here's where you've always had belief in yourself. That's that room there. Here's the room where all the accomplishments that you got, that everyone doubted you. That's all. See all the shelves that are there with the little, pictures of you smashing it. That's this room. See this room where you have self-belief because you've done all these amazing things. That's this room here.
Mm-hmm.
See where you want to create a vision. This is a place that you do it. And it's like, see when someone's got a problem, it's like, oh, this is a room that's cluttered. I can see why you're getting issues. Like, fancy, I'll shout out what you need to do and let's tidy it up. Let's shape it the way you want. And they're like, I quite like this room. Like, how does the room look now? I like it.
Yeah.
And great. So every time you visit this room, it doesn't look like it did then, it looks like it does now. And it's that we're taking you inside to that mind, that mind palace where like, this is yours. Mm-hmm. And you've been able to connect and recognise because these are things that you think and feel about all the time.
Yeah.
But nobody's ever went, oh, should we pop inside your, you can go inside your house, but what about going inside your mind? And you're like, nah, there's just you, an ego, and a weird inner bitch. That's who exists in there. That's what's inside.
That's literally, that's 99% of people these days.
And that's what I talk about in my mindset. I'm like, there's a fucking inner bitch. There's you. There's this fucking thing observing you that you call consciousness, and like there's some weird fucking setup where you can hear and see you talking or it's hearing you. You're like, I don't know what that is, but there seems to be two there. And then there's a fucking inner bitch that comes up and just tries to sabotage everything that you do.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck?
That's so funny.
Look, this is the weirdest committee meeting I've ever heard, and it seems to be me, myself, and I.
Yeah, I feel like that's fucking hilarious. But people see that when you're saying it's them, their ego, and their this weird inner bitch that comes out as well.
You've got an ego and a weird inner bitch, and you've got you.
Yeah, I feel like, but see the you part, that's the part people are disconnected from.
It's split in two as well, because there's a time where it's you, and then there's a time where like you're your ego, and then you're like, well, when I'm my ego, this must be consciousness. But when I'm me and I'm not the ego, then my consciousness must be observing this version of me.
Yeah.
And then when you're doubting and worrying and thinking to yourself, you're like, well, this must be done a bitch. And I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how these pieces like interact, but they're all in there.
What advice would you give to someone that is really controlled? Well, actually, because that may be a fucking trick question that you can't really answer. Like someone that's really controlled by their ego. Like what? How would someone know if they are? Actually, that's maybe a better question. How would you someone know that they're getting fucked by their ego?
Like the way to do it is to ask them, say, look, have you ever had the best way to do it is go, look, have you ever had a situation where you were 100% sure you were right, and then, you know, a day or a week or a month goes by, and then like it sinks in, you go, I don't think I was right. Right. So what's happened is initially that's more likely to be your ego, where you thought you were right because you're defending your position. You don't want to look silly, you don't want to look stupid, or you don't want to look, you know, weak or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason is, your ego's flared up and you've acted a particular way. And there was a reason that you acted that way. And at the time you thought that was right. And then as the dust is settled and your ego's calmed down, you've looked at it without the lens of your ego on it, and you go, I probably didn't like the way I acted.
Yeah.
Right. That's when you know that your ego's in charge, and what you're doing is you're becoming aware of this part of you. And this is the thing that is, if their ego is in control a lot of the time, lots of these instances will be happening, and it'll be frustrating, and it'll be frustrating to them because the ego creates a blind spot which you can't see. So you can't see where you're messing up. It'll be really easy and obvious to everybody else, but because your ego's in charge, you don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to defend it. And ego's like, I'm the big boy. I'll take care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to listen to anyone. But your results are going to show you.
It's quite a big fucking one, actually.
Your results will let you know. And this is where you have this weird situation where, in particular, I would say particularly boys will go to someone that they wouldn't listen to anyone else, but they'll listen to that person because they'll know. And that's the whole kind of like brotherhood of, they'll go to someone who's they respect and that they trust their word and trust their judgment. And 10 of their pals could say the same thing and they wouldn't listen to them. But if that one person says it, they'll listen to them.
Yep.
And it's because they somehow know that has weight because it's came from them.
Yeah.
And it's because their ego can't get to that height to shoot that person down, because the respect is higher than the voice of the ego.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And generally boys will do that. And it's like, you know, that's when you get the whole, you know, that's why you need a father figure. That's why masculinity is not toxic. That's why you need someone that's going to keep you in check.
Yep.
Because we all of us, not just boys, but we're all going to, you know, if there's going to be times where if you're given an inch, you'll take a mile.
Yeah.
And you need someone that you can trust going, look, you need to rein that in. You need to rein it in. You'll not like it. Your ego will try and defend it, but you need to know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's fucking class. That's a good one. If you feel like recently you keep finding yourself defending a point and realising that you've not been right about that point, yeah.
And the thing being is that you'll know. Like, so I'm not saying that, like, if your ego's really, really red hot and rampant, the ego will not let you hear it, right?
Even what we've said there, that will still describe
if it comes from anybody else, but what will happen is this is really on the extreme end of the ego. So if your ego will not let you hear it, what will happen is you need to let it subside, like a week, it might be an hour, a week, a day, a month, but just look back at something and go, if I was doing that again, would I like to act differently? And if the answer is yes, you know your ego's absolutely running rampant. Yep. You don't need to tell anyone. You can internalize that. But it's like you just opening the door slightly and you're letting a little bit of it through and you're going, right, okay. And then start to look for other instances and then find somebody that you can confide in and go, look, I'm getting this situation where I'm acting like this. And then looking back, I would like to act differently. Have you seen anything else that's like that? And they're going to help you establish, like, here's what happens. And they might open up and go, look, this is normal. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you go, this is normal, and you just realise it's something you learn, and then you go over and you adapt and you adjust to, you're like, all right, because then it allows you the room not to need to defend it.
Yeah.
Now you go, well, now I can work with it and adjust it and improve it and fix it rather than need to defend. Because defend, it's either, it's either defend it or you don't.
Yeah.
It's very binary, where if you can start to like work with it, because your ego is your best friend, it will drive you and motivate you. It's when the ego runs wild and out of control, it can cause havoc.
Yeah.
But you definitely want an ego, but you want an ego working for you, rather than tripping you up and creating these instances where you are not in control of it.
And how do you use your ego to help you?
Well, your ego is going to, like, ego is a great thing that makes you, like, the reason that you want to, like, do well, and the reason that you want to be proud of yourself, and the reason that you want to push yourself and grow is all your ego. Because it's like, well, if you didn't have an ego, then what desire would you have to improve and grow and get better? Like, where would the significance come from? The significance is measured in your ego.
Yeah.
So that mechanism's good, but just like anything, it can run absolutely bonkers and wild. So it's like that tightrope where you want to use the best bits of it, but also just be aware of when it can start to steer off course and then get it back on track.
Right, yeah.
Because what you don't want to do is have yourself just running riot.
No, of course. So when someone does visualization, right, why would the visualization not work for them? So we've kind of spoke about how they wouldn't connect to the vision. So you said the dopamine thing, the I can't visualize, and then it's the too focused on the outside world. Is there anything else to add to that part?
Yeah, I mean, it's the general. You can add there's things that you can add, but they're all the same kind of genre where you're not, like, you're just not putting in the work. So the vision isn't compelling because you're not applying the effort internally to get the result. That's really, and there's variations of it, but that's really the format of it. You can add, you could add limited things to it, but they all fit the same box.
Right. When people speak about visualization and doing this, it reprograms your mind. What's the easiest way for someone to understand what that means? In your interpretation of it, because I know that you're very fucking.
So what was the question?
So when you hear all the time, you reprogram your subconscious mind. Like, for someone that's like, what the fuck does that mean? I know it sounds like it's good, but what does that actually mean? How the fuck are you rewiring your mind or rewiring your brain? Like, what does that mean?
We'll start with the science bit. So the science bit is you have neural connections operate neural pathways in your brain. So the easy way to think of that is you follow a certain pattern that you've wired in. And an analogy that I really like is when I was young, I stayed next to woods. There's loads of trees, and if I wanted to walk from where I stayed to the big grass park, I walked through the trees. I had routes that I took through the trees. I didn't randomly walk through it. I had I'm going this way, and I know that this is the shortest distance. And I had 3 routes. If I wanted to go to the top, I would go that route. If I wanted to go to the middle, I'd go this route. And if I wanted to go to the bottom, that was the route I would take. Mm-hmm. So as I walked through these woods, and I'm sure other people did as well, there was a rut that was created into the grass and the ground. So just the same way as you follow a pattern in your mind, you create these ruts, these pathways. So they're electronic signals that fire through neurons, and it creates that pathway, much like you would rut a route through the ground. And then when you've been running a path that's taking you to the same place all the time, then you're great. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to change your path. But if you change the destination of where you want to go, which is, I'm visualizing something that's different from what I've got, and I want to go somewhere that I've not been, you're going to need to build a new path, or you're going to need to create a new rut. And old rut isn't going to get you there, because old rut takes you to a different place. You want to create a new pathway. So when you start to visualize, what you're doing is you're building that new pathway, because you're heading to a different destination. Much like if I was in my house and I wanted to get to a different part of the park, I would need to take a different route. So I would then form a new pathway. And that is what's called reprogramming your mind, because you're reprogramming the patterns and the neurons in your brain that create these connections. And that's a reprogramming process, because we all run in patterns. And when you're running and operating that pattern, that is called reprogramming. You're restructuring how you operate in your mind. That's going to take you on a new path to the destination you want to go.
Amazing. And then the stronger the emotion that's attached to those visualizations, the stronger the pathways that are created.
So the brain part is when you imagine something, you create neural connections in your brain.
Do you need to emotionally experience it?
Well, there's two systems, there's electrical and chemical. So the electrical system's the thought and thinking part, which is the electrical connections of the neurons in the brain. And that creates the imagery, the sensory environment. You can imagine the smells, you can imagine the sounds, you can imagine the feel, touch, texture. You can imagine what it would look like. That's electrical. How your central nervous system responds to that is chemical. So all your chemical responses and all your emotional responses in your body are chemicals. So you have that feeling, that gut instinct, that intuition, that overwhelming feeling of love or joy or happiness or fear. So if I was to say to you, imagine that you're walking back through the woods and it's dark at night and this is the path that you always take. And then behind you, you hear, a branch snapping. You have unbelievable focus on whatever that is because you think that there's danger or something you need to pay attention to now. That's a chemical response. So your body would start to fire adrenaline and get your body prepared. It would be a chemical response.
Mm-hmm.
The visualization is the electrical part. The emotional is the chemical part. And when you take the two of them together, you get an incredibly powerful response because your central nervous system, which is the chemical part, will respond to that electrical system, whether it's outside and there's a branch snapping near you or it's an internal visualization. It will respond chemically the same. And that's how we do the lemon test. So we do the lemon test and people are like, I don't know how I can smell a lemon here.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, I'm gulping as if I'm chewing something. That's how the test where I'm like, well, this is your central nervous system responding chemically.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the power of the visualization is the more times you do it, the more connected you become to that visualization by experiencing the chemical reactions, the more powerful that neural pathway or that rut becomes in your mind. And then that then fires off all the reticular activating system. You're like, that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. And when you see an action that you would have previously thought was hard, but you felt how good it will feel when you get there, you now go, no, it's easy. Because you have chemically felt the benefit of what it's like to get past that. You're like, yes. And this is why a vision is so important, because when you get through to the result, you know how good it will feel. So no matter how difficult and how challenging it will be, you respond going, that's exactly why I'm going to push through. I'm going to get there because I'll feel really, really good when I get to the other side of this.
Yep. And that repetition, my understanding of the nervous system as well, that you won't feel good about doing things that aren't familiar. You'll have this kind of fear about doing things that aren't familiar. Like it won't feel safe. It won't feel something that you're familiar with. So the repetition of the visualization, feeling it, you actually start to become familiar with what it's like to have that thing. So when it comes to taking actions to get there, yeah, it's a good feeling driving you, but it's also because you're familiar with what it's like to be someone that's done it. Doing that thing becomes easier.
You're just lining up all your ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. It's like, you know why you're getting there. You know why you want it. You're prepared to do what it takes to get there. And you're lining up chemically how you feel and electrically how you feel. You're just lining up the ducks. And on your question about you fear what's unknown or unfamiliar, is that's based on your value-based system. So like people that want excitement and are a bit more risky will probably thrive doing that type of thing, but they're more likely to be bored with mundane stuff.
Right.
Because that's their value system. They seek enjoyment and, that uncertainty. You get someone who's predominantly driven by certainty. They like routine and like to know where they're going and like to leave really, really early so that they arrive early so that everything can be done in order and everything needs to be packed. Their value system is they like familiarity and they like to have things done in a particular way, and they tend to be quite structured and orderly and like routine. So both of those people would get an extreme benefit out of revisiting the why and how and getting the electrical response and the chemical response, because the person that's structured, routine and orderly will feel familiar and they'll enjoy that part, to your point.
Right.
And the person that likes more kind of excitement and risk and variety and uncertainty, they love that chemical response. So that'll be feeding that element of it to them.
Yep.
So it works for both of them on extreme ends.
That's fucking sick. That is really good. That's really good. It's funny because like a lot of people think it's black and white, and I actually personally, to admit, the nervous system thing where it's like familiar, unfamiliar, I put that on everyone. But see, the value system, that makes a lot of sense, that some people actually really like the uncertainty and the fear and like jumping out of a fucking airplane.
Like if you've got somebody like this, is where your value based systems are, like, people are a combination of things. Like, it's not the one or the other. Like, in generally, like, you get, like, my missus is like, I'm really adaptable and really adjustable. My missus is like the complete opposite. She likes to know, like, if she could plan things, as further out she can plan it, the better she feels.
Yep.
Right. And I'm like, I need to think about this right now. Right? And I'm just like, so we work quite well because she'll plan it to death.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't need to think about this to 30 seconds before I need to do it. But then the clash comes where she's wanting to leave 75 days before we need to be at the airport. And I'm like, there's no reason that we need to do this. So we need to come to some sort of compromise.
Yeah, fair.
So she wants to get there in plenty of time. And I do understand that, and I do get it. It just doesn't line up with my kind of like attitude to risk.
Yeah.
So this is where you get your value-based systems and knowing more about you and what you're like. Because there's other things where, I would be, to give you another idea is like, I would be more specific on, there'd be things where I would be totally aligned with my wife. Like, we should do this then. And there's other things. So it's not just like, you just need to understand
it's
how
fluid.
You've got a combination that you like.
Yeah.
And the more you learn about yourself, the more you can become aware of what you're like, the more you can sort of work with it. Yeah. And that means that, again, come back to subordinating your ego, because your ego is going to tell you that you're just fucking right all the time.
Yep. 100%. This is class. I really like this. So, see if you were to put success into a statement, or a sentence or a paragraph, right? But a statement would be quite cool. What would that, to you, what's your definition of success?
Well, success is a feeling of growth that is right for you. So that would be how I would sum it up. Life is about experience, and experience is usually that you're growing or developing. Like, so no one wants to go backwards, no one wants to recede. No one started walking and thought, I'll go back to crawling. No one started running and thought, I just want to go back into a buggy, or a pram. Yeah. Like, we seek experience, and that experience is usually through growth. And if you get people that are having a tough time in life, generally they're starved of that. So they're lost, they don't feel right, and it's like they've got no room to grow, they feel stuck, they feel trapped. So I would say success is that constant feeling that you're growing in a way that feels good. Now, in the material world that we are in, success people generally attach to money.
Yep.
But an example I would give is I know loads of people with amounts of money that they'll never spend that are unhappy. So success is very different from money.
Yep.
Success is growth. Success is that you're feeling fulfilled about what you're doing, and you're either growing yourself or you're helping others to grow.
Yep, 100%.
That's success.
Definitely. Living a life that you truly want to live.
Yeah, and it will change as well, like, because the life that I wanted to live when I was 7 is very different to the life that I wanted to live now.
Of course, yeah.
So you need to be adaptable. You need to be nimble. You need to ask yourself that question, because in this day and age, you can rapidly change the life that you've got. Because as much as we're beaten up on social media and AI and Google and technology, it also allows an incredible amount of things. You can send money around the world instantly. You can have access to information instantly. You can get in contact with people instantly. So, like, it's a double-edged sword. Loads of these things are incredibly powerful, and it means that you're not locked into a 40-year career that people used to be.
Yeah.
Like, the idea was, in the industrial age, you would go, you would get a job, you would learn a skill, a trade, or a profession, and then you would carry out that profession for your entire working life, and then retire, and then hope that the company or corporation or government will look after you in your retirement. And that industrial age is gone. And a lot of people still believe it's there, and it's gone. And now we're in this age which is much more fast-paced, much, much more open, and people are not being pigeonholed. So there's, as much as things are tricky in terms of the dopamine structure and all that sort of stuff, there's lots of creativity and lots of new ideas and a lot more connections coming out than what used to be. So, you know, it's not all, you know, darkness. There's good coming out of it.
No, I think it's super powerful. It's just, I think when something that I've kind of reinforced to my clients recently is the only reason, and this is going to be a kind of prompt for you to ask you what you think. The only reason, it kind of does connect to that, because I feel like a lot of people are distracted these days, like the ability to focus. I don't think the ability to focus is the problem, because people can focus on scrolling for fucking 4 hours. But the ability to not be distracted by things like scrolling, I think, is the problem. And the reason I done a Monday call on discipline off the back of a call that we had, because you were like, just fucking, I was sitting outside the hospital after seeing my grand, you're like, just fucking discipline, mate. You're talking about frequency of artists. It's just discipline, just do or don't. And I do agree, it just is, right? But my take on why people aren't disciplined most of the time is because they forget it is that easy. They just forget, they're distracted. They get distracted or consumed by life. Like, if I give the example of when I locked in the vision at the start of the year, tripled my revenue in 12 days, fucking really, really good. The vision changed. I didn't adapt to vision. It was almost like I got distracted and just forgot the thing that we started doing was the thing that worked. I just forgot. Yep. Even though you reminded me, I would then be reminded, remember, and then be distracted fucking within probably an hour of you telling me that. So what do you think, in my opinion? So my opinion is most people won't do the thing, not because they don't know how to or not because they're stupid. It's just because they get distracted and forget a lot of the time. And that's why accountability from my coach to keep me reminded, in my opinion, is super fucking powerful and really necessary for most people. But what would you say the number one reason or thing, or like maybe there's a couple of things, but as to why someone isn't disciplined, doesn't do the right thing?
They listen to their own bullshit. That's it.
So
that's it. That's really it.
Completely.
Like, if the thing that will change you the fastest is leverage. So what's an extreme form of leverage? An extreme form of leverage is, I have a gun to your head and I'm going to blow your brains out if you don't get this task done. That's extreme leverage. Right, so take your loved one, the person or animal or whoever it is that you love the most. It will die if you don't get that done. You will move heaven and earth. You'll not be scrolling. You'll not be saying life got in the way. You'll not be saying I couldn't be bothered. I was tired. That's leverage. Okay? Meaning that you are entirely capable. So the question is, why are you not doing it? Because your lever isn't big enough. So what's the lever? The lever is you need something that is a big enough why to move that from one to the other. And you need the discipline to keep moving and pushing that lever. And the reason that you stop pushing that lever is your own bullshit.
Yep.
All your excuses are lies. Because when the chips were down and your loved one was on the line, you would have moved that and continued to move it until you'd hit it and everything was safe. That's how every single excuse is lies. That's why you are not getting the life that you want. It's because you listen to your bullshit. And as an example, there's someone who is less talented, with less money, with less opportunity, with less results, with less than everything than you, doing better than you. What's your fucking excuse? You don't have one.
Not got time.
Not got time. I just need to manifest it,
it's
bro.
Hard though. It's hard.
I just need to manifest it. You know, I need to get into vibrational frequency, and
my frequency's definitely off.
Yeah, my frequency's off, and you know, my girlfriend was giving me shit, and
I'm not aligned at the moment.
I'm not aligned, and you know, I just feel like it's not the right time, and blah 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 blah. If there was a gun to the back of your head of your nearest and dearest, you wouldn't pull any of this shit out.
See, to have complete humility, I said to you not long ago, it must have been a couple of months ago now, I said to you, I think I've got a limiting belief. And you're like, the fact that you're telling me that, and the fact that you teach this and preach it, I'm not buying that. Because it was just my shit. It was just my own shit. I was filming my own shit. And you're like, there's no, like, what are you talking about? What fucking shit have you just said to me? You've got a limiting belief. And I was like, no, you're right. I'm just saying that. Like, it was just completely filming my own shit.
In this victimhood mentality world that we're in, you've got an unlimited like literally an unlimited library of reasons why you can't.
Yeah, fully.
And what you can do is, right, shit, I'm not getting it done because I'm lazy and I'm listening to my lies, I'm on bullshit and I can't be bothered and I'm tired and woe is me and oh, my wee pity party. And you can go to the whole fucking list of, what could I use today? Limiting belief. Limiting belief sounds quite good. Hey, fuck, I've not used limiting belief in ages. Aye, fucking limiting, that's fresh, limiting belief. That means that's good. That is, I just look at that as, sorry, miss, I can't take part in PE today because my fucking mum didn't wash my clothes. Here's the note. What the fuck what are you playing at?
Load of shit.
What shite are you talking?
Yeah.
And it's like I'm saying to you, it's like, look, you either want to crack on or you're not. And again, your ego's then going, hey, so we fucking brought to you limiting belief. What's this?
Aye. That doesn't match up with that.
What you mean?
So actually, it's quite cool because see, you've been full of your own shit. People get full of their own shit and forget how easy it is. That's like the kind of ties back to the thing that I said. Like people forget because they get full of their own shit. Like the thing that works is doing the thing. Then you get full of your own shit and forget that it's just as easy as doing the fucking thing.
Well, how many times you had someone where I often do this to people, and you need to understand the makeup of someone.
Yeah, how they.
Where I'll be like, you, what are you playing at, man? You can't do that. And I'm like, aye, I can. I'm like, no, there's no chance. And I'm like, I'll do it. I'm like, I bet you can't. They're like, I'm definitely doing it. I'm like, there's not a hope that you're going to do that. When do you think you're going to get done by? I'll have it done by the end of the week. Pish. It could give you the end of the year. You're not going to have that done because you're this. And I'm like, I'll show you. And then they'll go away and they'll hammer it.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I told you, and it was this, and it was that. And it's like, well, how do you feel? Feel really good. I'm like, well done. Right. Now, who did that? Was it you or was it me? They're like, well, if you didn't say that, no, who did it? Was it you or was it me? They go, it was you. What you needed was the thing to make you go at this all in. And that was the thing is that they were not going to be told by someone that they were less than who they believed they were.
Yeah.
They weren't having that. You're not telling me that.
Fully. I used something like that with a client recently, a client Matty, quite a big ego, drives him forward. And same kind of thing. Wasn't getting it done. I was like, bro, you're telling me that you're this guy. That's not what that guy would do. And he's like, no, you're right. You're going to fucking start doing what I know I should. And I was like, well, I don't believe you. You need to fucking show me. And then that day, literally huge fucking action taken. So 100%. I think that's, super fucking powerful. Full of their own shit. They just forget that it's actually easy to do the thing because they get full of their own shit. And
like complacency is a thing. Is like it's complacency, and you believe, like you start to buy into your own bullshit, and when you do get success, there's you switch from, I don't know if I can do this, to I can fucking do anything, and then you fall into the other side of complacency. So imagine like you're walking a beam, right, and that beam is exactly where you want to be. Like, so you imagine a gymnast, and there's the beam that they do all the tricks on.
Yeah.
Like you're pulling all the tricks and getting all the amazing results. Like, yes, everything's great. On that side of the beam to your right is, oh, I don't think I can do it. I can never get in that beam, and there's no way I can do it. And then on the other side of the beam is, I'm really, really good. I'm amazing. I can do anything on that beam. Are you on the beam? No. Well, it doesn't matter if you're on that side or that side, you're not on the beam doing it. And the only time that you are really alive is when you're up in that beam. So it doesn't matter if you're on that side or you're on that side, it's all BS.
That's sick. So that's class.
And this is what happens is we get people like you were saying about Matty. Matt could definitely do it, and I'm just not because fill in blank, limiting belief, non-vibrational frequency, revisit the vision, I'm just feeling like I'm going to use one of the Hermetic principles today, blah, 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 blah. Are you on the beam? Show me. And that's the positional or visualization of where are you? Are you up there doing it, smashing it? Are you being all you can be? I don't mind if you're on the beam falling off. I don't mind if you're on the beam trying. I don't mind if you're on the beam nailing 50, 60, 70% of the things you try. Just get up on the beam.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to get backed, pushed, encouraged all the way as long as you're on the beam. Don't sit and talk shit to me on that side or that side. Right, get up and fail and fail and fail again till you smash it, because that's where the prizes are, not down here.
That's a good analogy. Both sides of the beam are complacency. One side is, I couldn't do it. Like, I'm happy with where I'm at type shit. And then the other one is, I could do it if I want.
Yep.
It's like, I definitely could if I wanted to. But yeah, right now, like, I'm busy with this thing, or like, I've not got time, or like, that's a really good analogy, because people will disguise not doing the thing by saying they can do it. Like, they
It's
won't
about,
do the
like,
thing.
it's like they get, it's like, well, people that talk shit. The one that was in America that I always liked was the Monday morning quarterback. So like everything's watching everything in replay. You've got 20/20 vision and hindsight, so you can see everything because it's played out. But it's easy sitting here for your throne talking shit. What have you done?
Yeah.
Where are you at? What are you actually doing? The only person that you should be listening to is other people in that beam. And you know the type of sounds that the other people in that beam are doing? They're not saying things like, well, I could do that. I could do this if I wanted. I could do that. I don't feel like I'm worth it. They're like, come on, man. I'll help you. Right, show me it again. Come on, we'll do it together.
Yeah.
Hey, like, do you need that? You need that? You want me to move across? Right, I'll give you a spot. That's the noises that come out for people in the beam.
Yeah.
Not this BS that comes for like, well, I could do it if I want. Well, what are you talking shit for then? Get on the beam or get out of the way.
Yeah.
Leave the people that are wanting to get on the beam to do their business. You've got no business being here. So either get up or get out of the way. That's it.
I think it's very common these days, people having an opinion with no real substance or experience.
Social media has generated that everybody's got like an opinion. Like, this is the whole thing where it's like, everybody's got, a voice. It shouldn't be listened to, but everybody thinks that they've got some sort of place, and it's really easy for them to pipe up.
I've got an answer. What do you think? See, when you, because I've said this to a couple of clients recently, because they're taking advice from people that they shouldn't be. Because I'm looking at that person, they've not got something that I think they should have for them to actually have substance to take advice. But how can you tell someone's doing something and they've got no substance, or they've not, like, you shouldn't probably listen to that person? Like how would you know that?
Well, it came back to the point of earlier on about congruency. So congruency is that feeling where, do you know when someone tells, like, somebody that's always late and they tell you they're going to be there on time, and you're like, no, you're fucking not.
Mm.
Like, you know what they're saying doesn't match what you feel or see about them. So you get that intuition where you're running the loop of, do I believe them? Like, what are they doing? What do I know about them? What can I work out about them? How do I feel about what they're saying? And when they all line up, you're like, and generally you trust them. You're like, I trust them. They're good.
Yeah.
And then other people, you're like, I think I'm getting bullshitted here, because there'll be something off about what they're doing. It'll be the way they're coming across. It'll be too scripted. It'll be, they're not speaking from a place of experience. They're speaking from a place that they think that is how it should sound.
Yep.
They think that there's a particular way things are done and said in a particular way that is just going to like mesmerize people. And don't get me wrong, there is.
Yep.
But you can tell when it's someone that's done the work, and you can tell when it's someone that's just like, parroting off whatever they hear.
I think these days you need to be careful. Like, I think a lot of people genuinely these days are listening to people with no substance or any right to say what they're saying. And the one thing that I feel is the deciding factor is their results. Like, results just expose everyone. Like, if you don't have the results.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things, like, the results are good. So, like, a proven track record is good, but a track record can also be easily, manipulated.
Falsified.
It can be falsified quite easily. One of the things that I always like is they're real. And what makes them real is they'll tell you something that you would think, hey, that's really like, you've said something that people wouldn't say if they were falsifying it. Like, you've told me where you've messed up. You've told me where you've went wrong.
Yep.
You've told me a mistake that you've made. It gives an unbelievable amount of credibility when you're exposing, hey, look, I'm not perfect.
Yep.
I've done this. I tried it. I messed up.
Yep.
And then, because people like, well, if you were built, like, people that come out and put on the show, it's always, everything's amazing. It's really simple. If you follow this, it's like 100% guaranteed. And deep down, you know that nothing's 100% guaranteed. Deep down, you know nothing's straightforward.
Yep.
Like, at some point somebody's fucked up making a pot noodle, despite that being one of the easiest things to pissheads can make a pot noodle.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you really need to get it backwards. But life's like that, where there's times where you just don't get it right.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody's going, look, I'm not perfect, and here's what I did, and here's how I solved it, they're usually good signs.
That's fucking sick. I feel like I was able to do that when I did actually start experiencing things. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I used to do the shit that see the making it sound perfect. You know this. Like, I used to do the making it sound perfect shit.
Well, it's off the back of, like, as I said, there's a generational thing where there's this whole, like, push of fake it till you make it, which is like, it's out there, and it comes from the law of attraction. Like, that kicked about for The Secret, which was the whole idea of fake it till you make it, which was like, people are going to see your image and your perception and how you come across.
Yep.
So just act like this and be this way, and it will look the way it needs to look. And people will just think you are it. That came from the fake it till you make it, and then the law of attraction amplified it, which was move into your desired reality. And you can just be in a vibrational state, and you can be one in harmony, and you will attract everything around you. That's the fucking pitch.
Yeah.
And you're like, deep down, your intuition's going, you're talking shite.
Fully.
Because you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
Right? And you get so much more credibility if you're doing the work. And even it's like the example of being up in the beam. You can go up in the beam and fail and fail and fail and fail again. You will get unlimited amounts more respect for going up there and failing than you will faking it till you make it down here. Going, I did this, and do you know that I got a 10.0 in the beam, and I got the world's best score? And if you just follow my 10-step process, like, you've never been in a fucking beam in your life.
Yeah. And
it's like, no, look, just follow what I'm telling you. Go up there and give it a try, and people just know. They're like, I know it. And that's what happens.
I think the be before you become thing is definitely a real, like, you do need to start acting in alignment or acting like that person does and start kind of making decisions like they would, right? But I feel like that stuff there that's really fucking modernized and popular these days, it almost demonizes being in a process to become someone. Like,
well, it's like what we said to you, it's more a case of saying, like, look, like, what would be, and as I said, I like to be specific so people can go, oh, there's the difference. So, like, the fake it till you make it would be something like this. So, like, give me anything that you want to start with. Like, somebody's starting out something, they're going to fake it till make it. You pick whatever it is.
Say like a coach for CEOs.
Right. So, the fake it till they make it approach would be, hey, here's my process. I have an unbelievable track record of doing this. Here's what I can do for you, and everything's amazing. It's the most straightforward 30-day money back guarantee. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Everything's great. Let me show up, and it's all jazz hands, woo. And you go, right, okay, that's fake it till you make it. And what you're doing is you're playing a role of a part that you think is what would be the real version of the thing that you're trying to achieve. Mm. So you're going to look like it, sound like it, act like it, but not necessarily feel it. That's where you get the incongruency. Right. And that's why there's such a thing as method actors, because method actors, when they're pulling off a really good role, will literally imagine and recreate what it is like to be that person. They'll starve themselves, or they'll make themselves fat, or they'll make themselves, like, emaciated, or like they'll literally go to extremes to recreate what it would be like to feel like that. Mm. That's them. That's the extreme version of it. Because they are faking it, it's not really happening, but they actually do a lot of the work to get to that state of what it would be like. So the other experience would be, what would you be if you were a coach to a CEO? You'd say, listen, CEOs that are out there, sure, you're smashing it. I'm a new coach. Here's what I'm looking to do. If you're a new CEO and you feel lost, you feel stuck, I've got this new thing that I want to try out. It's been proven to be successful for other coaches and CEOs, and I'd like some guys that are out there that want to try this. Now, it's new, it's in testing, and I'm looking for hungry guys that want to test it with me. Who's in? Right? It's real, it's raw, it's congruent, because you're saying everything that's honest. You're telling people what it is, and they're going to be like, hey, look, if you imagine like two of them were on your social media feed, like which one's more believable?
Yep, another guy. The
second guy, you'd be like, that's the guy that's believable.
Yep.
And what's going to happen is you're not going to have that feeling of wait till they find out, wait till they rumble me, wait till I'm just an imposter.
Yep.
Because what happens is you fake it to make it. You got this big downward pressure of, hey, look, I'm a fucking fraud.
Yeah, fully.
Like, I'm going to get found out. And then you have these conversations, and then what happens is you're like, shit, what's the words that I need to use here? How do I need to sound?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, like, this is what I mean is people make it sound more complex, and use even more fucking buzzwords and it's just this huge mountain of stuff to try and hide the fact that they're faking it until they make it. And it's like, look, just be real.
I don't blame. This is what my point before your point there, which is fucking amazing. I love it. I don't blame people for faking it till they make it, because that's what I feel like most people think. That's how they think it works these days.
Yep.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, if anyone's listening that's maybe done that or feels that you need to do that, there's nothing wrong with being someone that's going through a process. Like, I went through that at the start of this year where I was like, right, I'm seeing these guys do this. I want to do what they're doing. I need to become him now. But see, as soon as I let go of that, and I was like, well, no, I'm actually in the process. I'm learning these things, and maybe I'm learning them quickly, but I'm in the process of doing it. I started to speak through the things that I'm learning. I started to work with clients that matched who I was now, instead of being this pressure on myself. Because I see it all the time. I see coaches like that are copying other coaches. It's like copy and paste jobs, and it's because they think they need to be before they become. But that authentic approach where you're the guy doing the process, like you said there, it's like, I'm a new coach, I'm doing this new thing, it's going to work out if you want to try it. That authentic approach, I feel like, will get you better results than faking it till you make it. But I don't think I think most people think faking it till you make it is the way to go these days. I generally... I
mean, there's loads of people that have faked it until they've made it. So, I mean,
it has worked, yeah.
Like, it has worked, but what I'm saying is that, like, you need to concurrently run your learning process, or the process that you're going through, along with you initially starting you faking it until you're making it. But there seems to be this is the problem, as I said to you as we started this podcast, the generational shift is, I want to do none of the fucking work.
Yeah.
I'll get AI to do it, Google to do it, copy and paste it, replicate it. I want to do none of the fucking work, and I'll fake the entire thing and then kid on that I've made it and get AI to rescue me.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing none of the work.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean is, like, that's the difference. Is you can be like, look, I'm a new business owner. I know what it's like as a new kind of guy in business. Here's the top things that I needed to figure out. Here's what I've learned. If you're out there and you want answers and you want help and you want to do something that's cool, get in touch with me. And what I'm going to do is show you the process that I learned that helped me get from A to B as quickly as possible. And if you're interested in that, I'd love to talk to you.
Yep.
Right. Then you have no pressure of faking it. People know what they're getting. You're like, hey, look, this is what I've done. Have you had these problems? Have you, like, felt imposter syndrome? Do you feel like you're burning the candle at both ends? Do you feel like you're losing focus? Do you feel like you're going the wrong direction? Yeah. Right. Well, here's the plan. If you like this plan, here's what we're going to do. It's this time period. It's this cost. I'll do the work with you, and then we'll see what it's like. And because you're in the testing model, I'm going to do you a really good deal.
Yeah.
Are you in? Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Like,
yeah.
And it doesn't, right, so you don't need the pressure of, I'm a big fucking imposter and everybody's going to get found out. And guess what you can still use? You can still use AI, and you can still use Google, and you can still look what other people are doing really well, and you can find your niche where there's a gap that's been missed. Because the best thing to do is look at something that's been done, and look at something that's been done really well, and then find a way that you can improve it.
Yeah.
That's the best way that you can do things.
Yeah.
How can I put my spin on that to improve something that's already out there?
Yeah.
Or even better is, that part's been done really well and that part's been done really well, but there's a gap in the middle that I want to fill.
Yeah.
That's business 101.
Yeah, definitely.
Fill the gap.
Yeah.
Instead of like, hey, let me just go and fake it to make it. If I go out, go whoop, whoop, whoop with these words, fucking everybody's going to then sign up, and then I get AI to do everything. You're getting nowhere with that, because it's literally you're lighting the fuse until you get found out.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, because that's what I went through that process. Because you took me through this formula. That's why I said at the start of this podcast it might not be cut into this, maybe cut out from the start, because it's not necessarily where we started. But this is the first podcast I've showed up to and we've sat and spoke that I've been 0% gay. So I'm not forcing anything. I'm not, because when I say 0% gay, like, we have like Gio's changed my worldview to you're either gay or great, right? That's like the two options, right? It's like
I mean, he
gayness or
prefaced
grayness.
that, like, we're not using the term like your sexual preferences.
No.
We're using the 90s version of gay, which was where you were being soft and you were being basically a bitch.
Pussy,
you were bitching out. You weren't doing what you needed to do.
Yeah, try to
and you were
fake it
just
till I make
basically
it.
finding any excuse. In the 90s, basically anything, you could be called gay for anything.
Yeah.
That was basically you not pushing it. That was the sort of terminology.
Yeah, so today I've showed, like, I feel like at this point in my, like, coaching career, I've came back to doing the thing that I've done with you, but because I'm doing it now based on my own experiences and the kind of learning curve I went through, when I'm showing up on social media, I'm not doing the lofty shit as much anymore. I'm not trying to impress.
Your whole curve was you came in like, I'm going to have a business model. I want to do none of the work. I want to be the headline act, and I want to get people under me that's going to do the work.
Yeah.
Like, that was your initial model, and I was like, this is pie in the sky stuff.
Yeah.
And then you went through the whole process of, I'm like, well, why don't you try doing these things? And then you tripled your earnings, and you're like, holy shit, that works. I was like, well, I told you that's like how it works. And then you went on this like meandering sort of pathway of, well, I want to change and I want to do this, and then if I do this, and then I do, and like you're feeling around. But in fairness to you, we're up on the beam. So I don't mind that. You're up in the beam, fucking up big time. Right? You're crashing off it, falling off it, hitting your balls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he is making a serious fucking mess of this.
Yeah.
But you were up in the beam.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean is like the thing that happens when you're up in the beam is you build experience.
Up in the beam for 5 months.
And when you're up in the beam beating shit out yourself, you're then like, well, I know that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that seemed like a good idea at the time. That fucking wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
And but we actually learned something from there. Let me tweak and adjust that. That was quite good.
Yeah.
Maybe I should pull that thread. And then what happens is you're getting better and better and better. But what you're doing is you're getting the experience.
Yeah.
And as you get the experience, now you are ultimately authentic, where people are like, well, this guy knows it. He seems to be able to know what I'm like in the beam. He must have been in the beam himself.
Yeah.
And this is what happens is when you hear somebody that's never been in the beam, you're like, you fucking don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you see it so
You've not
much,
tried
man.
this.
Yeah, really.
Like,
That's what I'm
until
saying.
you smashed your nuts in a beam, you don't know what the pain is that you feel.
Literally.
You know?
That's because you hear people saying like vision, alignment, like they've not been through that. You can just tell they've not been through that.
But this is what I'm saying
process.
to you is like that whole fake it till you make it is, it starts from, right, let me posture that I'm like more than what I am.
Yeah.
And then the more complex that I can make it sound, the smarter I sound.
Yeah.
And then you can buy into that if I sound good and I'm using words that are impressive, then you're not going to look behind the veil. You're not going to check behind, you have a look under the bonnet,
Yeah.
right, and see there's no fucking engine in here. Right, so what happens is it becomes more elaborate and more elaborate and more vague. And that's why I'm like, well, see your guys that you're referring to, like, Jude and, Jack, and we watch them and they're good. And I'm like, it's entirely vague. I'm like, give a real world example. So somebody goes, that's exactly what I was like.
Yeah.
And they can connect to it.
Yeah.
Rather than this, like, vague fucking, spiritual wander in a garden that just sounds so good.
Yeah.
And there's loads of that out there.
Yeah. A lot of it you can apply as well if you know what it means or if you can interpret it. But I feel like this is why when I get asked in the podcast last week or 2 weeks ago when I done it with Paul, he said, like, who would you listen to if you had to listen to some cunt and no one else had said you? Like, because the way that you speak it is very direct that when you're listening to you talk, it's like they feel like they're talking about them. Whereas the things that Jude, Jack, they kind of watch, and I like the stuff that they're talking about. I fuck with it as well because I can interpret it, but you don't really sit and go, that's where I was last week or that's where I was last month. You don't really connect to that. You can interpret it and go, right, cool, I can see where that's maybe happened in my life or whatever, but the way that you speak about it is because it's from direct experience, but it's two people that are experiencing it. It connects to the people that are listening to it so much more. You say real life.
Well, it's like you hear something. So what these guys are doing is they're repeating something that has a lot of bases and is fundamentally sound, but then capturing your attention in an entirely vague way that you don't really know how to apply it or where it actually really is in your life.
Yeah.
And then what I'm doing is I'm going, have you ever had something like this happen? You're like, yes. I'm like, well, if you did this particular thing, yeah. and then done this. Watch what happens. You're like, I could recognise the reference points where you recognise something that's happened and then you recognise what you could do differently and then you could recognise if the result changed. So I want to attach those things in your mind that you can practically apply them rather than this just being a lofty, wafty, it's spiritual and divine creator and the vibrational frequency and all I need to have is a torus field and all that. Like, that is all out there. Like, we're not disputing that.
No.
How do you apply that? Like, as a young, hungry go-getter out there wanting to get after it, how do you, in real terms, apply that?
Most people can't.
It's like because you're just having your balls tickled. Somebody's just going like that. Whoa, and you're like, whoa, it sounds good.
Yeah.
And it's easy to be getting led down that garden path.
110%. I feel like that's why, though, what I do is super important for my clients, because I'm almost like a filter for that stuff to make sense to them. So it's like they will hear those kind of words and be like, I don't really know what that fucking means, though. And then I'll get specific with their specific scenario, their specific experience. And then they start to go, yeah, I can see exactly where that's showing up in my life. Then we understand how, like you're saying, can you act in a different way that would get a different outcome with that specific thing that keeps showing up? Yes. How would that look? How would it feel? And then you start to actually be more specific. So I think that's why, but that's where I had a hard time, though, because I was thinking in my mind, like, I like the sound of what those things sound like. So if I just say them, I'm going to sound good as well. And people are going to see me the way I see that guy.
Yeah.
But I felt this is why I see these copycats and these people fucking saying these words that they've not experienced. There's no connection to the client, or there's no connection to the people that are hearing it in terms of them practically getting better results in their life.
Well, I want you to imagine the scenario. Imagine that 1 million people watch his video. I don't know who it is, so I'm going to give an example that there's 1 million people that listen to that video of great sounding stuff that they really can't apply and don't really have points of reference, and it's entirely vague, but it sounds really good, and they've read 3 or 4 books that sort of point in the general direction that this is probably believable, but you've got absolutely no idea how to do it. What I would say is it's a bit like somebody dropping off an entire kit of things with no instructions on how to put them together. You know that it'll go together, but you have no idea where to start. You don't even know what the first bit is, never mind the last bit. And you go, this is going to take me forever to figure out, and you're probably going to lose interest and just go back to doing what you're doing before you get any result here.
Yeah.
And then you have a video that only 10 people watch, and you go, this is the first piece, and can you see it? And they're like, yes. This is the second piece. Can you see it? Yes. But that thing that they build changes their lives. You've changed 10 people's lives with that one video, and only 10 people have seen it. But you have totally changed 10 people's course of their lives. 1 million people have viewed his video and nobody's life's changed. Like, so you got to ask yourself, do you want is attention and eyeballs and what you want? Do you want to actually make a difference? Because sometimes they're not one and the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, fully. Yeah, that's what I started to realise. I think that there's validity in what because it's a guy called Neo Knowledge that Jude and Jack watch. And I think that, like, this is something that's saying for the people that can interpret what he's saying and apply it, really powerful. Very, very fucking powerful. I just felt like when I was going into conversations with clients, we were talking about something that's directly stressing them out. So for me to start going, just like your frequency feels off, or like just talking about that, it's like it didn't really apply to them directly in that situation. So what I found that out. Do you know what I mean? I found fake it till you make it shit didn't actually get results from my clients. Sounds really good, looks good on a whiteboard. Does it get people a fucking result when I'm talking to them one-to-one? It actually didn't at all. Yeah. And maybe made them feel good for a day or two, but it didn't really actually get to the root of what was causing the issues in their life. So, yeah, fucking sick. How are you for time?
All good.
Yeah. So, I don't want to go into any fucking rabbit holes about the fucking flat earth, the fucking round earth, because this has been a very productive chat about the kind of just how to operate, honestly. When it comes to someone feeling anxiety, right, whether it's about the future, why do you think that would exist in someone's life? The anxiety, the uncertainty, where do you think that comes from? What is the
fear of not being loved?
I've never heard that as an answer before.
or fear of not being good enough. So anxiety comes, like anxiety in its true form is you preparing to take action. And people have rewired anxiety into life to be anxious about just about anything. So as we foraged for food hundreds of thousands of years ago, and if you were picking berries off a bush and you're foraging these berries and you're getting ready to eat, and then you hear leaves crackling behind you, your anxiety would lift because your body's getting ready to, there may be a danger. That's anxiety. So you'd be anxious about what may be. You don't know yet, but the body's preparing you. Let me raise the adrenaline level. Let me raise cortisol. Let me prime this body for fight or flight. That's anxiety. People are getting anxious about a Facebook like. There's no fucking danger here. Or they're getting anxious about,
a lot of the time it's taking action or building a business.
It's just fucking excuses. It's just wet, white, fucking miserable, like victimhood excuses. But the where does it come from is that if they, right, so if you back engineer where it's coming from, because what I started with, it's the fear of failure, fear of not being seen as good enough, fear of being not being loved, is if you don't take action, what's really going on? What you're saying is, I'm scared to take action because if I fail, I'll just look shit and everybody will think that I'm not good enough. Right? That's what they feel. They fear looking bad. They fear not being good enough. They fear the failure. So that anxiety of failing is bigger than the anxiety, than the thought of success. So they then just go, look, to save myself the embarrassment and looking bad, I'll just not take the action. And that's the anxious feeling. But it's basically fear of not being good enough.
And what alleviates that anxiety?
Getting their fucking shit together. It's like, seriously. Switch the perspective. Imagine you had a kid, imagine you had somebody that loved and they had this really good opportunity and you knew they were going to be really good at it. And you were like, you should go for this. And it doesn't matter how many times you fail, go give it a crack. You're going to be really good at it. Even if it takes you a couple of times, go do it. Because you'll learn and you'll get really, really good. I think it's a really good idea. And they'd be like, would you tell your loved one to be anxious? Would you tell them to like fear failure? No, you'd be like, hey, give it a crack, give it a try.
Yeah.
You don't know until you try.
Yeah.
And this is the thing is the advice that they're generally telling themselves in their heads, generally not the advice that they give a loved one, somebody they care about. But what are you telling yourself this for then? And then this is the thing where you go, well, what if it did work? You're weeding out what they feel, which is how you feel this way. And would you this advice that you're internally giving yourself, would you give this to somebody you loved? No. Well, why would you not? What would you tell them then? But tell them this and this, and it's usually all positive. So what are you telling yourself it for? Oh, well, I don't know. It's like, well, let's flip the switch. Imagine this worked. What would your life look like? What would life look like then? Like, so we've done the whole, like, I get you have the negative bit, right? So it's failed. What would it be like if it worked? And if it did fail, how bad would it actually be? Like, would people never talk to you again? Well, no. Well, how bad would it be? Would it take 10 years to not talk to you? Like, what? Like, where would? Like, no, I think people would actually think it was all right. Well, what really would happen then? And then what happens is you're squeezing the thing down from this big thing in their mind and actually taking it to, well, it's only a few things.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, well, if you failed, like loads of businesses fail. So why do you think they get up and go again? What do you think happens? Well, they probably learned something. So they figured out how not to do it, just like when Edison built we made the light bulb. That's why we have lights in here, not candles. Because a guy failed and failed and failed and failed and failed again until he got it right. So, like, we don't sit there and, like, harp on about his failures, how he failed 10,000 times. We celebrate the one time they got it right.
Yeah.
Like, so what happens if you got it right? How many times would you be prepared to fail? It's like, see your kid when they started, like, walking. See when they got up and they got on their feet and then they fell back down the bum. Did you just, like, write them off and go, oh, they'll never walk? That's them. We've had a shot. Well, they'll never do it.
Yeah.
No, you keep going until you get it right. Keep changing your approach and learning and adapting until you get it right.
Amazing. So if you have anxiety, take fucking action.
Get out your own way. Go out and practice. Get the reps done. Just get out there and get on the beam. Go on the beam and fail and fail and fail again till you make it work.
More times you fall on the beam, fuck yourself in the balls, the better.
Yeah. 100%. And that's the thing, is because you learn. You learn by failing. Failing's a good thing.
Yep.
Like, it's not a school test where you're told you're bad. Like, if you go out and fail, you're going to learn. So learn and adapt and adjust and take the information and learn again and do it again and do it again until you get the result.
And I think a lot of people, if they're not getting a result, they'll feel that they're failing. But if you're actually trying to get the result and not just giving up, I'd say you're winning. Even if you're like...
You're either winning or you're learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Win or learn, tattoo.
Yep.
Literally is that. But win or learn, I think that's a good fucking place to finish the podcast. That was really good. 2 hours of fucking heat. That was actually really, really good. So appreciate you, Gio.
You're welcome.
Legend for
Thanks for having me
on. Yeah, so appreciate everyone's time watching the podcast. You've taken something away. I'm not, or reinforced something powerful. I'm not even going to say I hope you've taken anything away. You definitely have. Until next time, I feel like the podcasts are back now. If it, let's say a minimum of bi-weekly. Gio will call that gay, but let's be sensible and say minimum of bi-weekly. The podcasts are back. I really enjoy it. Who knows if we're going to see Jack on the podcast again? That's another fucking story. But we might. We actually might. But I appreciate everyone's time watching this, or watching or listening, whatever you've done. And yeah, we make these podcasts so you can benefit and learn some new things, reinforce some powerful perspectives. So yeah, appreciate your time. Until the next one.